Hello and welcome back to Focus Atlanta again. I'm your host, Keisha Lancelin. Thanks so much for continuing to watch. In this segment, we're going to talk a little bit about literature. I am here with author Karen Good-Marable, and we're going to talk about Yaya and the Sea. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Oh, thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
No, I'm excited. Tell me all about it. Tell me when you knew Yaya was going to be a book. Like, when did you know?
Well, so this is a interesting story. Yaya and the Sea was a journal entry that I wrote back in 2001. My friends and I had gone to the ocean. I was living in Harlem at the time, and we'd gone to the ocean and done a ritual, much like we see in the book. And my friend, I didn't have kids at the time, but my friend did, and she couldn't find a babysitter. So she was like, Yaya's here. And we were like, oh, great. Being young, I think late 20s, early 30s, and really discovering new ways to be spiritual and call things in was exciting. But with Yaya there that day, I was just so turned out that on the way back home to Harlem after we did the ritual, I wrote it in my journal through the eyes of Yaya. It must have been 20 years later or 19 years later. Deneen Milner from Deneen Milner Books, which is a part of Simon & Schuster, asked me if I had ever written a book because she had her imprint. And I was like, she asked if I had ever written a children's book. And I said, well, I've written a book with a child in it.
Does that count?
I said, and it wasn't a book. I said, I've written a story. Have you ever written a children's story? And so I told her I wrote a story with a child in it. And then she read it and she loved it. And it's a whole book.
And it's a whole book. And here it
It's a
is.
whole book.
Now, now it's like a child, right? It's like making the book, writing the book is like having a child. You've birthed this story. To that end, who have you birthed it for? Who are you talking to?
I love that question. So I have a 9-year-old who is my audience. Like when I think about these stories, I think about her. And I always what I've been trying to teach her is there's many different ways to see the world and see nature and see, to know about God and how you can manifest things. So she was primarily on my mind. But what I love about it, there's a picture in the book where the women are like sitting on the shore, beautifully illustrated by Tanya Engel. I mean, oh my God. But they're sitting on the shore and Yaya, their backs are to us, and Yaya has her hand on one of the aunties. And it just felt like sisterhood, like a sisterhood. And so in that way, I feel like it's for all of us. I wanted it, I want my girlfriends to read it as well, because I do believe that these picture books can really be keepsakes, like
Yes.
particularly when they're beautifully done, I just feel like that. So I did it for the little girls and for the little girls in us, the big
Oh,
ones.
I was just thinking that. What about the little girl in me? Okay, for the little girl in all of us.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just so grateful that someone prompted you to put this into a book, to make this a book. Sometimes we don't recognize how our stories or how our experience affect other people or can affect other people until somebody knocks on your door, until somebody says, hey, you know what?
Right.
So thank you for listening, and thank you for writing.
Oh my gosh, thank you for having me. I really am honored and happy to that this is out in the world. Yeah.
Oh,
Thank
so where can we go? Is there a website that we can go to, we can kind of follow? And on your website, is there a place to say, hey, this is what my daughter and I thought about the book, or hey, this is what I found when I read the book? Just kind of give you a little feedback.
Yeah, absolutely. You can go to my website. It's KarenGoodMarable.com. That's KarenGoodMarable.com. And there is a place just for Yaya and the Sea, and tell me what you think. It's been a really beautiful reception. A lot of people have been sending me pictures of themselves with Yaya. And and I have to say too, especially the mothers and daughters, like I was not expecting that. I was like,
Oh,
oh, particularly like I said, I wasn't a mom when I wrote it, but I was an auntie. And that's what it was about. It was getting the play aunties together and you
yeah.
know, and the mamas and because we all have somebody hope, well, we hope that we have a little in our lives that
Yeah.
we can pass
Pour
this
into.
information on to.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, thank you
Yeah.
again for writing it, and thanks for coming on the show. It's a pleasure to meet you.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate you.
Absolutely. All right, Yaya in the Sea is available. Please take the opportunity to go to the website, learn a little bit more, get your copy for you, get it for the nieces, get it for your cousins, get it for the aunties, and then, you know what? Jot down a little note. Let her know what you think about it. Let her know how it made you feel. That's what makes writers so important, because they make us feel some type of way about what's on that paper. So take the opportunity to do your part. Thanks, guys, for tuning in to this segment of Focus Atlanta. We'll be right back.